let's talk about why I left YouTube for 15 months. I made a video in early 2018 about the video game Celeste, and it did surprisingly well, so clearly I need to cover more video games on this channel. After that though, I really didn't publish a real video on this channel until May of this year, about 15 months separating the two. So where was I that whole time? So in the spring of 18, I was finishing up my master's degree at Penn State, which is actually this document right here. The thing is, that semester I was living by myself because I was doing a 5-year program instead of a 4-year program. Most of my friends had graduated. My girlfriend was doing a study abroad program in Italy, and basically all my classes were online, so I was super lonely. I really did not have a lot of face-to-face human interaction, and that took way bigger a toll on me than I expected. And honestly, it was just easier to cope with that loneliness by putting unhealthy crap in my body and playing video games a lot. I wish there were a better reason I didn't make YouTube videos in that entire semester, but nope, that's the reason. I didn't realize how much the loneliness of that living situation and environment would affect me, and that really prevented me from making anything after the Celeste video. After the spring, I graduate, I get my degree, and then I moved to Texas, specifically Houston and then San Antonio, to teach middle school science. And while I was training to teach science and then also eventually teaching science, pretty much every weekday was just super full and busy, and I didn't have time for anything except teaching during the actual week. And during the weekends, I certainly could have had time to make YouTube videos, but I had just basically spent an entire week doing really tough work, and honestly, I just wanted to relax and hang out with friends on my weekends. I was actually teaching in San Antonio until around September, when I actually resigned from the school I was at. This could certainly be a longer story, but in summary, I resigned because I didn't get along with my principal, and I also didn't really agree with the principles that governed the school I was at. And because of the situation I was in, I couldn't leave that school and go to another. It was that or nothing. And I was having a lot of mental health struggles because of the environment I was in, and I chose to leave it. And it's a shame, honestly, how that all went down, because I think in a different situation, in a different environment, I could have been a really good teacher, but that's just not what happened. Newly unemployed, I was looking for full-time work, and after several months of searching, I eventually was offered a position that I now am in, which is I'm an academic advisor at Penn State University, which was my alma mater. Honestly, it's very, very cool to come full circle, and I do like this job a lot, and another reason that I also took this position in this area of Pennsylvania is because I'm from Pennsylvania, so it's close to my family, and my girlfriend also works really close to here too. So we're living together now, and that's really fantastic. And obviously moving up from San Antonio to Pennsylvania took me a little bit of time to get situated with housing and learning the ropes of my new job, so that's why it took me a few months to get back into making videos again. So to summarize this timeline, I posted the Celeste video. I had about 5 months of just intense loneliness that I had a really hard time coping with, and then I had several months where I was teaching and I had very little free time, and the free time I did have, I was just trying to relax. Then I was unemployed and looking for a job. Then I found a job in Pennsylvania and was moving to new housing and getting situated with the job. And then once I sorted that stuff out, I published my video, The Wisdom of Crowds. Despite all the legitimate reasons I just mentioned, I do also believe that if you want to do something, then you have to make it a priority. Like, people say all the time, oh, I'd love to do this, but I don't have time for it. No. If you really want to do something, you'll make time for it. What people mean when they say I don't have time for it is, oh, it wasn't just a priority of mine. And in my case, there was a lot going on in my life, and so YouTube as a priority just dropped. Obviously, now that my life is more stable, it's risen again to being a high priority, and that's why I've been able to put out around 2 videos a month for the past 2 months. And that's actually kind of what I'm trying to hit right now. I'm trying to do 2 videos a month, one that maybe takes more time and editing and effort, and one that is a little more laid back, kind of like this. Alright, well that's pretty much it for the why I left YouTube part and future plans, so let's now talk about the other part of the title, Patreon. So I made a Patreon account. I'm sure a lot of you already know what Patreon is, but for those who don't, it's a website where you can pledge money on a monthly basis to go to specific creators that you select, and in return, you can receive perks for supporting them. My Patreon page offers two main tiers of perks. For $5 per month, your name will be credited in the description, and at the end of each video I publish, you'll get 2-day early access to the videos I'm going to post on YouTube, and you'll also get electronic access to the scripts I was using for each video. I honestly think that's a pretty good deal. But the other main tier is $15 a month, and it's basically all of the stuff that was in the previous tier, plus I'll mail you some surprises every so often, like custom bookmarks, posters, cards, signed scripts, etc. I'll call or Skype you to say thank you for your support, and we can just chat about whatever you want. And you'll also have your own special thank you in the descriptions and at the end of each of the videos I make. There are a few small other things on there, but that's the gist of it. Obviously, I would receive money from this, and if you're curious how I would use the money, a lot of it is going to just reimburse the expenses that I've already had from creating on this channel. Things like the drawing pad I use for my videos, or the software I use to edit, or just other random props here and there. It just helps offset the cost of some of the expenses I've already put into YouTube. Now, I spent this video basically talking about how I didn't make YouTube videos for 15 months, and so a question running through your head right now might be, why should I support you when you're clearly a relatively inconsistent creator? And that's a decent point, but the thing is about Patreon, you don't have to support me. This is just an option for those who choose to. I mean, I'd prefer if you support me on Patreon, but these videos are always going to be free and available on YouTube even if you choose not to. So if you don't have the financial means to be able to support me, or do but don't want to support me, that's okay. This Patreon is just an avenue for those who can and do wish to support me and maybe want to get some of those perks as well. Alright, well, I've talked this concept to death now. The Patreon link is in the description if you want to check it out. Then that's everything. Thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you especially to those who are still coming back to this channel even after 15 months of nothing. I really appreciate it, and I hope you're enjoying your time here as much as I am. Thanks, and I'll see you later.